Hello, everybody. Are we ready to have fun tonight? We've got something special planned. So let's see, who have we got? Excuse me, we've got Paula, we've got Mike, we've got Jen, we've got Debbie Sue. We've almost got a full house of people. So today, first of all, how's the volume? Everybody hear me okay? Always live, Paula, always live. You know that. So somebody needs to let me know how the volume is. I think it's okay. Perfect, perfect. Right, so today, Jen made a video where she shared a story about something that left her vulnerable. And after watching that story, it made me feel like it was time to share a story of my own when I felt at my most vulnerable. And it was, funnily enough, it was not when I was diagnosed with cancer in 2019. Hello, Laurie. So glad to have you here. You're just in time, just getting ready to share a story. So, my story about when I was at my most vulnerable was from the age of 7. My dad taught me how to play rugby, which is the English version of American football, but without the helmet and the padding, just men on men. And he taught me to, if you get knocked down, you get back up. You do not stay down. And I was good. I was really good. And in 2001, I was playing football with a few friends of mine. And my girlfriend at the time came over and she said, just got a phone call. Your dad's been taken to hospital. He was having pains in his head. So I was like, okay, well, that's a bit strange. So I made my way up to the hospital. And by the time I got to the hospital, most of the family was there because my family has a one-call system. So when something happens, one person makes one phone call, and then whoever gets that phone call, they make 5 or 6 phone calls to everybody else who needs to know. So that's the one-call system. And so I make my way up to the hospital, and everybody's already there. And I see my dad, and he's on a stretcher in one of the little side wards. And I'm trying to ask around about what had happened. And he was in a pub with his wife, who's my stepmom, absolutely amazing woman. And she said that he was up on the table dancing to some of the music. And suddenly he collapsed with intense pain in his head. So I was talking to my dad, and by this time he'd been given morphine, and they were getting ready to take him in for some tests to see what was going on inside of his head. And so they take him for these tests, and then they basically say that the tests might take a little while. So if you need to go and get a drink or coffee or anything like that, we'll let you know when he's back. So we went and got coffee and things, and then he came back and they pulled my stepmom, my dad's wife, off to one side and basically said that he had suffered a brain hemorrhage and they were taking him in for surgery immediately or he was going to die. And so I saw him before he went for the tests. And then I didn't see him again until after he had had the surgery, which was, I think, the next day. By the time he'd had the surgery, and then they had to wait for him to go be placed into the, like, what they call the high dependency unit. And after all of this, my stepmom had gone and spoken to the doctor, and they said that during the surgery to repair the brain hemorrhage, the aneurysm, during the surgery, my dad had suffered a stroke and almost died on the operating table, but they were able to save him, and he was in the recovery area, and we were able to go and see him. He said to, like, not let everybody go all at once because there was like 6 or 7 of us, so it was like a few people at a time. So my stepmom would go and see him with one of my other family members, and I went round to see him with my sister, who is like 3-4 years younger than me. And I remember walking into the room and seeing my dad with bandage all on his head. He had tubes and like things coming out of his head, connected to a machine. One of his eyes, I think it was his left eye, was like severely swollen shut. He looked like he'd been in a fight with Mike Tyson. He was like quite badly bruised up. And for me, before this had happened, for me, my dad was Superman. Like, he was tough. I had never seen my dad. I saw my dad cry once before time, and that was at his mum's funeral, where he wanted to be one of the pallbearers, but he was emotionally, he was in no state to do that. So I said, "Don't worry, I've got you. I'll do it." So that was the first time I'd seen my dad crying. So he was like a tough person, but now he was there and he was vulnerable. He was helpless. He was almost like glass. I've been like, if he'd have got a cold at that time, that was it. He was gone. And I remember when I saw my dad, something inside of me died that day. And it was never the same after that. And it turned out that before that, I was never an emotional person. I could go to funerals and not cry. I could watch films, not cry. But from that day, after seeing that, and seeing my dad like that, something inside of me was ripped out, and I definitely wasn't ready for that. But I quickly realized that that was my turn. It was my turn to be strong for him, because after the brain surgery and then the stroke, he had I think it was like 80% paralysis on his left side. So moving forward, he was going to need a lot of support. And I think he was in hospital for almost 6 months, undergoing therapy and just waiting to recover from everything like that. And I always remember him like saying to me, you get knocked down, you get back up, you do not stay down. You get up and you keep going forward. And I knew that's what he was feeling. He was feeling like he needed to get back up and keep moving and keep going forward and keep being the rock of the family that he was. But he physically couldn't do that anymore. He Before this happened, he was a taxi driver. He's never driven since. This was 2001. So it was a very rough time. And I think after 4-5 years, he was, he was slowly getting back to almost normal. He still has like slight paralysis in his left hand where like he can't really extend his hand. So he's and at the time he was still having like constant seizures where he would like collapse and have like an epileptic fit, which we found was a side effect of the stroke or the brain hemorrhage. And he put in the work, and when he went back home, when my stepmom needed to go out to work because she was also a taxi driver, and she would work the night shift. So when she had to go out to work, I would go up to my dad's house and I would sit in the house with my dad for like 4 or 5 hours, sometimes until he went to bed, just to make sure that he was okay. And it helped him feel better because he knew if anything happened, he had me there with him. And it was, it does something to you that you can never be ready for something like that. But it helped me see a different side to him. And it helped me realize that there are more things that make you strong than actually being, physically strong. And there was one time he could see that I was starting to get upset, but I was trying to like keep it in. I was trying to be strong. And he said, don't ever feel like you can't cry because you're a man. If you're upset, if you're sad, if you feel like you need to cry, then cry your eyes out. That does not make you any less of a man, and it doesn't mean you are not strong. It's a show of emotion, and whatever you're going through, don't be afraid to wear that on your sleeve. And I've always felt like that was a changing moment for me as well, because now I watch I start weeping watching The Green Mile. I cried watching Castaway with Tom Hanks. I'm a lot more emotional nowadays than I was back then. And that was, that was 2001. And then 2005, I had an opportunity to move over to Canada for, I met a woman online. I was 27, she was 52. I don't know, something just clicked, and I felt, okay, I'm going to move over to Canada to be with her and see how it works out. Hi, Kelly, love to see you here. And after a year, I was at this time when I was in Canada, every couple of days, I would be on webcam talking to my dad, talking to my mum, seeing how they were, just connecting with family and things like that. And over that year, his seizures were getting worse to the point where they weren't sure what was. They weren't sure if one of these seizures would be the last seizure he ever had. He was like going downhill, and they didn't know why. So I made the decision to move back to the UK. The woman I was dating at the time in Canada, we parted on good terms. She understood my decision, and she supported that decision. And she knew that I needed to put my family first. I needed to be there for my dad. And that's what I did. I came back to the UK, and he wasn't good. But they managed to get him on these medications to help try and control his seizures as best as they could. He was still having trouble, like, walking. He was walking really slowly, obviously because of the partial paralysis on the left-hand side. So whenever we would go, like, anywhere, if we went to a rugby game, if we went to a pub, a bar, something like that, I would be on my dad's hip the whole time. So if he went to the bar, I went to the bar. If he went to the toilet, I went to the toilet. Whether I needed to go to the toilet or not, I went to the toilet, and I just stood there almost behind him or right next to him, so that I knew if anything happened, I was going to catch him before he hit the floor. And over time, he started to get a little bit better. And then something else happened in 2012. And I have a picture to show you what happened in 2012 involving me and my dad. That's what happened in 2012. There's my dad. And that was one of the happiest, well, it was the happiest day of my life. Having my dad there for me at my wedding was absolutely amazing. And I am happy to say that he is still alive and kicking today. I'll be going for a few drinks with him for my birthday in September. I spoke to him a few hours ago. We speak like every couple of days on the phone. We see each other maybe every few months. We'll go for a drink, and he's doing a lot better now. But the person he is now is, I think, stronger than the person he was before 2001 and before the brain hemorrhage and things like that. So, yeah, I wanted to share that because that was, at that time, I felt like he got lucky. But then in 2023, my dad and my stepmom, they were involved in a serious car crash. The car they were in was hit, and the car flipped over like 3 times, I heard. I was told, and somehow they walked away from that like with very minor injuries. I have had other things happen. Like my dad he's almost 80 now, my dad. He's 78, I think. Yeah, my dad is almost 80 now. But he looks so young. And I look like my dad. Like I have many pictures. I mean, if you look at me now and you look at my dad on that picture from 2012, it's quite clear to me that I am almost a spitting image of my dad. Hello, Sally. How are you, darling? Yeah, so that happened 2001. Then the car crashed in 2023, and then last year he called me. He rang me. He said, "I've went for some tests, so I'm feeling quite bad. So I went for some tests, and the test showed that I've got lung cancer." And I don't know why, but the first words out of my mouth was, "Well, I've got two. You can have one of mine. That's not a problem." He said, "I know I can, love. Thank you for that. I just wanted to let you know." I said, "Right, I'll let my mum know, and if he wants to talk to my sister, or if he wants me to let her know, I can do that." And he said that he would speak to her. So last year, diagnosed with lung cancer, went through chemotherapy, and he called me 2 weeks ago and said, "Just got the x-rays from the hospital, and the x-rays are all clear, the cancer's gone. He is effectively in remission, and he has to have blood tests every few months for the next 5 years." But that, when he got the phone call, or when I got the phone call to say, like, yeah, the x-rays are clear, I realized that in 2001 he didn't get lucky. In 2019, when I was told that I had testicular cancer and I beat that, I wasn't lucky. You know, a few years ago, my mum fell in the garden. She was doing some gardening and she fell on some garden clippers, severed an artery in her arm. And if it wasn't for a family friend being there, she would have bled to death in the garden. But there was a family friend there who was able to stop the bleeding until the ambulance got there, take her to the hospital. She had an arterial bypass, and she's okay. And all of that just made me think, Daryl, how are you? How are you? Yeah, it just made me think something happened in 2001 that I thought was luck, and it wasn't luck. All of my life, he's had my back. God has had my family's back the whole time, and I didn't realize it. But after everything that has happened, I finally this year realized that wasn't luck. We were protected, and that was an eye-opening moment for me. And that's when I I was like, okay, it's time to give myself to the Lord and to hear his message. And he has spoken to me in ways that I expect, but it's something that I am so happy for. So I wanted to share that story with you to show you what life was like, or to explain what life was like for me at my most vulnerable, and seeing my dad in his vulnerable state where he couldn't do much for himself and he needed help. That is what made me the person that I am today, where I feel like I need to help people. And that's what my channel is about. I know about technology, I know about software. I built my own PC. If I can help people with things like that, that's what I want to do, because I don't want anybody to ever feel like my dad had to feel. So for me, it's like YouTube isn't something that I do. I suppose it's a calling almost, where it's me just doing something that I feel I need to do. It's not like I want to do it, it's something that I need to do. Um, so that is my story of about why I am the way that I am, and why I do what I do, and why I am so supportive of each and every one of you, and why I love each and every one of you. Um, because with you know, oh, thank you, Lottie. It's the people like Lottie and Paula who have taught me like things about religion and had conversations with me about religion. I mean, I don't understand everything about Christianity and things like that. I think I get maybe 2 pages into the Bible and then like, okay, now I'm starting to get confused. Um, but I know that I believe in God, and I know that he is guiding me, and that is all that I need to know. I don't need to know about Matthew, Luke, Paul, Peter, like all the. I don't need to know all of that. All I need to know is that God is watching over me, He's watching over my family, and my place in this world is to help people who are one or two steps behind where I am, because it's people like Paula and Laurie who reach out and help people like me. And my job is to pay that forward by helping people who are less, or maybe one or two steps behind me. And I have so many people who helped me get to where I am. You know, it started with Karen. She was like my first mentor on YouTube. It was Karen, Paula, and all of the Golden Girls in the first live streams that I joined. And now with people like Sally and Daryl and Mike and obviously Laurie, who is like a mentor to me. They are all people who are very important to where I am. But I also know that there is a star on the horizon, and it's not me. I'm not the star on the horizon. The star on the horizon who is going, I truly believe, who is going to do things greater than they know, is Life with Gen X Values. I think she is the rising star on YouTube in this community. Excuse me, because she has the knowledge that she has, the stories that she has, and oh, thank you, Sally. I think I get lots of nice words because I like to read. I read a lot of books about the Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett's book, Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory, lots of books that I like to read. So I think that's why I'm so wise. So let's have a little catch up here. Who have we got? Yes, Daryl. Jen is great. She is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you saw her video today. The video was amazing, but then she released a short from that video, and that short had me crying, laughing. And I was like, this is what YouTube shorts should be. They shouldn't be like clipped up versions of what a longer video was. They should be this. So, Jen, for that short that you released after your long video, thank you. That absolutely made my day. And you are going to be absolutely incredible here on YouTube and in your career. I know you are. Now, moving forward, does anybody have any questions I know I said I was gonna show Laurie a few things about StreamYard. Um, if there's anything that Laurie you want to know about StreamYard or how to do things on StreamYard, let me know and I can show it to you. I can share the screen and show that to you. That's not a problem. And I think another highlight of my week is Sally and Sally's trivia nights. They are just so much fun. And I don't know how Daryl copes. I really don't. But yes, I wanted to show you the shirt that I have on today as well. It is okay to be different. Autism awareness, because I have a couple of godchildren who have autism, so I always like to wear this shirt. So let's have a look. Yeah, Sally's amazing. Sally's absolutely epic. Right. I think Daryl must have. I think that household is one big toolbox. Sally is a few tools short of a toolbox. Daryl is a few tools short of a toolbox, but together they make one complete toolbox. And they're just perfect together. They absolutely are. Oh, Dana, how are you, darling? Yes, dealing with autistic children is never easy, and people don't understand how difficult it can be sometimes. But I think in life, it's not for us to judge anybody, is it really? It is, if say somebody is rude to us or say something a little bit mean to us, I always like to think, I don't know what that person is going through right now. That person might just be projecting anger towards me, that for some reason they might have received some bad news. They might be going through some stuff at home, going through some stuff at work. Oh my God, work. That's another one. I remember when I was, let's look here. We need to go through the messages. Oh, I absolutely loved that, Dana. Manual for a Ford and giving a Ferrari. Absolutely. That is absolutely brilliant. And I don't think we're supposed to have everything figured out, are we? You know, because that's the point in evolving, is to learn new things. And when we're not learning, you know, then we stop evolving. So that is, I'm in Mike Old Me Living Better. I'm a member of his school community. And I said to him yesterday, if you walk into a room and you are the smartest person in that room, you are in the wrong room. Surround yourself by people smarter than you so that you can always be learning something new. Even if that person is not teaching you something, if you are observing and keeping your mouth shut and listening and watching, you are learning. And with that, you can learn so much. You know, yeah, that was a really great analogy. Yes, Sally, I don't want to fit in. Like, I always like to say that I'm not a people person. What I mean by that is I speak my mind, and sometimes people don't appreciate that. But I'm not prepared to change who I am. If someone is doing something that I think is wrong, or, I'll say, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or do you really need to be treating people like that? And sometimes they'll agree and apologize, and sometimes they won't agree. But I would rather be hated for who I am than to be loved for being somebody that I'm not. I would always rather be respected by a few than liked by many. And I always feel that when it comes to your individual personalities, our individual personalities, be yourself. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you. Be yourself, because it is all about mind over matter. If you are yourself, people who matter don't mind, and the people who do mind don't matter. So it's all about mind over matter. This is the core group. This is the soul circle. We are part of the soul circle. We are part of the core crew. And there's just so much of us. There's so many of us, and each one of us has got so many different personality quirks, and different things that we bring to the group. Like, if there's something that I'm not bringing to the group, I don't mind, because I know either Sally's bringing it, or Laurie's bringing it, or Debbie Sue's bringing it. So, or even Ali's bringing it. We've got Scott. There's just so many different people in the crew, in the community. And in just over an hour, a lot of those people are going to be terrorizing Jen, including me, when she goes live. So, yes, I did say that I was going to show Laurie something about StreamYard. So let me share my screen for Laurie. Once Laurie, when you are doing your lives on StreamYard and you want to invite people onto the stream to join you on camera, do you know how to do that? Because if you don't, I can show you how to do that. Hell, I could even invite you on camera now and you could talk to the people. Hello, Susan. How are you? And okay, that is what you need. Right. Let us go to, we're going to share the screen, and we're going to go to this screen. So you can see this screen here, Laurie, and what you would do is you would come down here to you would set up your live stream as you normally would, and you would link it. And then before you go onto your live, just here, you've got the three little dots. You click those dots. You can add a destination, which is like if you want to stream to YouTube or whatever else, that's fine. Or you can invite guests, and that will give you a key, which you would then copy and send that key out in an email or on Messenger to whichever people you wanted to share, whichever people you wanted to join, and they can click on that link and they can be up and running with you. So I hope that helped. Oh dear, the cows are getting bigger. And if anybody, yeah, you could do that. You could absolutely do that. Let's have a look. I don't see why that wouldn't work. Let me have a look here. So invite guests, copy this. Okay, so yeah, there you go, just like that. And then people could just click on the link and away they go. For StreamYard, Jen, I have the core plan, which is I think $45 a month, and really that's all you need. Yes, exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Laurie. How are you, Laurie?
I don't see it though, Peter.
Let's have a look. So,
you know what? Hold on. Oh, now I do. There's a little bit of a lag, but I see you.
There you go. And with these, we can even change make everything just so much better. So, how are you? What are you up to? Let's go back.
I'm hearing it in stereo. So I got to figure out how to do this, Peter. We may have to practice this. I'm good, but I'm not ready to be on camera, so I'm dropping.
Okay, I can do that for you. There you go. Yeah, it's easy to. Oh, you go into your setting, so just below where you would, well, basically just below the screen, you'll see the little cog icon, and that will open up the settings, and then you go to audio and click on echo cancellation, and you have different things like that you can just click on and play around with. So yes, she's. Oh, let's have a look. We've got Mike in the house. So where to go? I'm on StreamYard, Mike. And yeah, how does she look great all the time? She's one of those people who, like, I think wakes up and she wakes up ready. you know, not everybody can be that like that. You are welcome, Lottie. I apologize if you didn't intend to come on the stream at that time. I just seen you appeared and thought, oh, she wants to come on now. But yeah, anybody who wants to come on, probably next week, because there's only like maybe 10 minutes before I head off, so that everyone has time to go and make a cup of tea and have a bite to eat before we all invade Jen's live. But yeah, Laurie, if you have any other questions about like the streaming or StreamYard itself, just send me an email, or you know, just comment on a video or something, and we can always, you know, work it out. We can even do like a private live stream, so that it's just like the two people in like a private live stream where they can talk face to face and go through like any technical things that they're not quite sure about. So yeah, there's so many options, and I think Jen will need to get ready to be potentially called up to Laurie's live. I would love to have Jen on my live next week or the week after if she wants to. My understanding is to do that on YouTube. One of the people, usually the guest, has to be using their mobile phone. My understanding is you can't just have two people both using the laptop or MacBook or whatever it is and go live together. One of them has to be like on a mobile phone or a smartphone. I could be wrong. There are people way smarter than me who would know more about it. But, well, you did not look a hot mess. You looked vulnerable, and you was having difficulties getting the camera to stay in one position. You was having difficulties with your pieces of paper floating away down the floating away over to Greenland. You know, you was having some little things going on, but you looked amazing. You always look amazing. And yes, I think Laurie is going to need to start booking her times up. But I think you're doing amazing, Jen. You really are. I think each video that Jen makes is better than the last one. Is what we all aim for, right? And yeah, Laurie said that Jen looked so like relaxed, and she did. She was just like so like just chill back, just paddling away, and I was like, how is that possible? Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm glad you found some filling for, and that's what I'm here for. You know, I have gone on video calls with Alison in America to help her try and recover one of her passwords. I have so many skills that I don't get the chance to put to use. Like, you know, if you call up a call center, a customer support center, and they say, okay, do this, and then they start like doing things on your computer, and you see your cursor moving around the screen, because they're controlling your computer. I can do that. So I can help with people with like technology in that sense. Like if they're having problems with a piece of software, or they're not quite sure how to get something happening, I can, help them in so many different ways. That's it, you see. Let me have a look here. Laurie said that God is opening so many doors, and they are. And I think it would be amazing if in, say, a month, now I might put Sally and Laurie onto this one because they are the OGs of the community. It would be quite cool if we could have maybe a group live where you've got like 4, 5, 6 people all on camera at the same time. Like the same thing that I was part of on Friday nights with Karen and Paula, doing that with Sally and Laurie, and just whoever wants to join, really, just having fun. Imagine having a trivia night like that, where instead of just asking the questions and people typing them in, you've got multiple people on the camera all asking like a different question. You could have teams. There's so many like amazing things that we could do. Yes, I thought I might be a little bit nervous for the first live on StreamYard, but once I watched Jen's video earlier today and I realized then what it was I was going to talk about in my video, I was like, I'm fine. I know what I'm talking about. I know that the people in the stream are going to be interested in the story, and it just flows. And next week will just flow. It might not be a story next week. It might just be general chit chat to see how people are. Sally, I think Jim might be suggesting she's behind you or she's outside your windows. You never know with that one. She can be a bit of trouble. But yes, I want to thank everybody who has come and participated in the live. It really means so much to me, and knowing how much I mean to all of you and knowing how much I love all of you, I think there is only going to be many, many more fun things happening. You could have so many people doing multiple lives. You could have Laurie and Jen doing a regular live. I can see that being a thing. I think Laurie wants to try and make that happen at some point. But yes, I'm going to leave it there. A nice 1 hour for the first live. Pretty good. And once again, thank you, everybody. It was an absolute honor having you all here. And I love you all. And my Paula is like a big sister to me. I love that woman so much. She reached out to me in times when I was struggling and helped me through things. So, Paula, thank you for everything that you do. Laurie, thank you so much for everything that you do. And I will see you all in 1 hour for Jen's live stream. Thank you, guys. I love you.